Can someone please spare me bus fare? I have nothing left. An elderly man in torn clothes sat collapsed against the subway wall. Hundreds of people walked past. No one stopped. No one cared. Until Chen appeared. This broke high school student had only $10 to her name. Her last $10. The money her dying mother had saved for her. But she handed it all to a complete stranger. This is all I have, but please take it. She had no idea who she was helping. This homeless man wasn't who he seemed. What happened next will restore your faith in humanity. Hit subscribe. Watch how one last $10 can change everything. Downtown Los Angeles. A city where your zip code determines your future. Chen was fighting for hers. 17-year-old Chen climbed 3 flights of stairs to apartment 3B. No elevator. Couldn't afford the rent for a building with one. I'm home, Mom. Chen looked up from her hospital bills. Dark circles under her eyes. Hands shaking from chemotherapy. How was school, sweetheart? Maya forced a smile. School was hell. Every day. Rich kids with their designer clothes and brand new cars. Maya wore the same 3 outfits, rotated weekly. Her sneakers had holes she covered with duct tape. School was fine. Linda reached into her worn purse. Pulled out a crumpled $10 bill. Her fingers trembling. Here, take this. Mom, no. You need this for your medication. Maya, you never ask for anything. Other kids your age, they go to movies, they hang out. You just study and work. Please, just this once. Maya stared at the bill. $10. Her mother's tip money from washing dishes at the Chinese restaurant. 12-hour shifts on her feet, all for this. There's this new boba place everyone's talking about. Maybe go with some friends? Friends. Maya's chest tightened. She ate lunch alone every day. Sat in the library during breaks. The other kids called her scholarship girl when they acknowledged her existence at all. Thanks, Mom. I'll save it for something special. Linda smiled. The first real smile Maya had seen in weeks. That night, Maya held the $10 bill. Her mother's love in paper form. She couldn't spend this. Not when Linda was hiding medical bills. Not when they were 3 months behind on rent. Not when Maya knew her UC Berkeley acceptance letter sat unopened because they couldn't afford the enrollment fees. The American dream felt impossible from apartment 3B. Maya's mother had brought her family to America. With 1 suitcase and infinite hope. Education will set you free, she always said. But freedom cost money Maya didn't have. Her father had died when she was 12. No life insurance. Medical bills that bankrupted them. Now Linda's cancer was doing the same thing all over again. Maya looked at her Berkeley letter again. Computer science major. Full ride academic scholarship. But even full ride wasn't enough. Housing, food, books. $15,000 she didn't have. Maybe the American dream wasn't meant for people like her. Friday afternoon. Maya walked through downtown LA after her shift at the tutoring center. $5 an hour. Cash only. Every penny mattered. The subway station buzzed with rush-hour crowds. Businesspeople in expensive suits. Students with laptops worth more than Maya's monthly rent. Everyone moving fast. Everyone looking down at their phones. That's when she saw him. An elderly man slumped against the wall. Clothes dirty and torn. Breathing heavily. People gave him disgusted looks and wide berths, like poverty might be contagious. Please, he called out weakly. Can someone help me? I need to get home. I lost my wallet, my phone, everything. A woman in designer heels walked faster. A businessman actually laughed. Please, I'm not feeling well. I just need bus fare home. Maya stopped. Her hand touched the $10 bill in her pocket. Keep walking, she told herself. This isn't your problem. But she couldn't move. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind, Maya. No matter how little we have, we help those who have less. The old man looked up at her with desperate eyes. I'm sorry to bother you, miss. I don't usually do this. I was downtown for a medical appointment. Someone stole my bag while I was having dizzy spells. I can't get home. Maya's heart broke. He reminded her of her grandfather back in Taiwan. Proud, dignified, reduced to begging. She pulled out the $10 bill. Her mother's sacrifice. Her own dreams. Here. This is all I have, but please take it. The man stared at the money like it was made of gold. I can't take this. This looks like your last $10. It is. But you need it more than I do. Tears filled his eyes. Real tears. What's your name? I want to remember the angel who saved me today. You don't need to remember me. Just get home safe. She stands, and the city pulls her forward again. Maya doesn't see him memorizing details, her school jacket with a stitched crest. The threadbare strap of her backpack. The softness in her voice that comes from living without much and giving anyway. She had no idea she'd just helped Robert Martinez, CEO of Martin Tech, net worth $50 billion. And she had no idea her life was about to change forever. That night, Maya told her mother about the old man. Linda smiled through her pain medication haze. You did the right thing, sweetheart. Kindness always comes back to us. Maya hoped so. Because they needed a miracle. The next morning brought bad news. Berkeley's final notice. Pay $15,000 by Monday or lose her spot. Linda's doctor wanted $50,000 for an experimental cancer treatment. Insurance denied. Maya stared at her homework. What was the point? She'd be dropping out anyway. Monday came too fast. Maya sat in calculus class, her last day of school. At least the scholarship kids' table would be quiet without her. Then she heard it. Car brakes screeching outside. Whispers shift to a different pitch. Faces tilt toward the front windows. A car has turned onto the block. Long, black, and otherworldly against battered sedans and idling buses. A black Rolls-Royce Phantom idles at the curb. Flanked by two black Suburbans, the kind that makes a whole block go quiet. The sunlight runs along the Phantom's hood and becomes a blade. The room stills. Even the teacher drifts toward the glass before catching himself. A suited driver steps out, smooth as a trick, and opens the rear door. Maya Chen, please report to the principal's office immediately. Every head in class turned. Maya's face burned red. The principal's office meant trouble. She'd never been in trouble in her life. She walked down the hallway while whispers followed her. What did the scholarship girl do? Maybe she got caught cheating. I heard her family's getting evicted. That last one was true. 3 days left. Maya knocked on Principal Williams's door. Come in. She opened the door and froze. A man in a perfectly tailored suit sat in the chair across from the principal's desk. Italian leather shoes. Expensive watch. Gray hair styled immaculately. It was him. The homeless man from the subway station. But this version looked like he owned the building. Maybe the whole city. Maya, he said softly, standing up. Do you remember me? Principal Williams looked terrified. His hands shook as he gestured to a business card on his desk. Robert Martinez, Chief Executive Officer, Martin Tech Corporation. Maya's knees went weak. Martin Tech was everywhere. Their software ran half the world's computers. This man was worth more than some countries. I don't understand. Robert smiled. The same grateful smile from the subway. But now in a $50,000 suit. Yesterday, you saved my life. I have diabetes. My blood sugar crashed during my appointment. I couldn't think clearly. Someone stole my bag while I was disoriented. No ID. No money. No phone. Maya's mind raced. This couldn't be real. That $10 got me to the pharmacy for insulin. Then home. You literally saved my life. But you're rich? Famous? Maya, I grew up in East LA. My mother cleaned houses. My father picked strawberries. I know what it's like to have $10 be everything. Principal Williams cleared his throat. Mr. Martinez has been looking for you, Maya. He had our school investigated by his security team. Robert nodded. I never forgot kindness like yours. When I was your age, a stranger helped me when I had nothing. It changed my life. Now I want to change yours. Maya shook her head. I don't need charity. This isn't charity. This is investment. In the future of someone. Who showed me that goodness still exists in this world. He pulled out a folder. UC Berkeley. Computer science. I know you got in. Maya's eyes widened. How did he know? I also know you can't afford to go. Your mother needs medical treatment you can't afford. Your family is facing eviction. Tears started falling. She couldn't help it. I want to change all of that. Today. I can't accept this. Robert's voice grew firm but kind. Maya, you gave me your last $10. You didn't even know my name. You just saw someone who needed help. He leaned forward. Do you know what $10 means to a billionaire? Nothing. Do you know what $10 means to someone who has nothing? Everything. You gave me everything. Maya was crying now. Let me give you everything back. I've already paid your Berkeley tuition. Full 4 years. Room and board. Books. Everything. Maya couldn't breathe. Your mother's medical bills. Paid in full. I've arranged for her to see Dr. Sarah Kim at Cedars-Sinai. The best oncologist in the state. All expenses covered. This had to be a dream. Your apartment rent. I've paid it for the next 2 years. And I've set up a trust fund. That will cover your living expenses through college. Principal Williams was staring open-mouthed. But why? I just gave you $10. Robert stood up and walked to the window. Maya, do you know what I was doing yesterday when my blood sugar crashed? She shook her head. I was at the hospital. Getting test results. The doctors found something. Something serious. Maya's heart sank. I was walking around downtown, thinking about my life. What legacy would I leave? I'd built a company worth $50 billion. But what had I really built? What good had I done? He turned back to her. Then this 17-year-old girl gave me her last $10. No questions asked. You didn't care who I was. You just saw someone who needed help. Robert sat back down. Maya, you reminded me why I started my company. To solve problems. To help people. To make the world better. Somewhere along the way, I forgot that. Your $10 saved my life. But more than that, it reminded me what life is supposed to be about. Maya wiped her eyes. There's something else. I want you to work at Martin Tech. Internships through college. Full-time after graduation. If you want it. I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept. Say you'll let me help you the way you helped me. Maya thought about her mother, fighting cancer alone. About the eviction notice on their door. About the Berkeley dreams she'd given up on. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Robert smiled. No, Maya. Thank you. You gave me my purpose back. He handed her another business card. This one had his personal cell phone number. Call me anytime. For anything. Your family now. After Robert left, Principal Williams stared at Maya like she'd grown wings. Maya, do you understand what just happened? I think my life just changed. Honey, your life just became a fairy tale. That afternoon, Maya called her mother from school. Mom, sit down. I have news. By the time Maya got home, Linda was crying. Happy tears for the first time in months. How is this possible? I helped someone yesterday. He helped me back. Linda hugged her daughter tight. I told you kindness comes back to us. Maya smiled. It came back with interest. 6 months later, Maya walked across the UC Berkeley campus like she owned it. Because in a way, she did. The Martinez-Chen computer lab had been built with her input. Robert insisted on the hyphenated name. Your kindness started this. Your name goes first. Maya's dorm room overlooked the San Francisco Bay. Her roommate was Sarah Kim, daughter of the oncologist treating her mother. They'd become best friends. Maya, check X. Sarah held up her phone. Hashtag last $10 was trending worldwide. Maya's story had gone viral. After a documentary crew followed her for 3 months, Maya read the tweets. Just gave my last $5 to a homeless woman. You never know who you're helping. Hashtag last $10 hashtag pay it forward. Maya Chen inspired me to volunteer at the food bank. Kindness is contagious. Hashtag last $10. Starting a scholarship fund at my company because of Maya's story. One act of kindness can change everything. Hashtag last $10. Maya smiled. This was bigger than her now. Her phone buzzed. Text from Robert. Turn on Channel 7 News. Now. Maya and Sarah ran to the common room. The news anchor was speaking. The Last $10 Foundation, started by tech billionaire Robert Martinez and college student Maya Chen, announced today they've raised $50 million to help struggling students pay for college. Maya stared at the screen. The foundation has already helped over 500 students attend college, who otherwise couldn't afford it. Another text from Robert, board meeting tomorrow. Your input needed on expansion plans. Maya laughed. A year ago, she was skipping meals to save money. Now she was helping run a $50 million foundation. Her mother was cancer-free. Doctors said the experimental treatment worked perfectly. Linda now worked as a patient advocate at Cedars-Sinai, helping other immigrant families navigate the medical system. They'd moved to a beautiful apartment in Santa Monica. Ocean view. 2 bedrooms. Linda had her own art studio. I never thought I'd live to see you graduate high school. Linda had cried when they got the cancer-free news. Now I'll dance at your college graduation. Maya's academic performance had skyrocketed too. Without the stress of poverty, she could focus on learning. She was already conducting research with graduate students. Her professors talked about PhD programs at Stanford and MIT. But Maya's favorite part wasn't the academic success or the financial security. It was the letters. Hundreds of them arrived weekly. Students who'd heard her story and found hope. Parents who'd been inspired to teach their children about kindness. Business leaders who'd started their own giving programs. Maya kept every letter. Each one reminded her that kindness was indeed contagious. Her smartphone buzzed with another text. This one from a number she didn't recognize. "Hi Maya. My name is David Rodriguez. I'm a senior at Roosevelt High School in Phoenix. I saw your documentary. Yesterday, I gave my lunch money to a girl whose family just got evicted. I wanted you to know your story changed how I see the world." "Thank you," Maya typed back. "David, thank you for sharing. You just made my day. Keep being kind. You never know whose life you might change." That was the secret, Maya realized. It wasn't about the money Robert had given her. Though that changed everything practically. It was about the reminder that one person's kindness could create waves that reached around the world. Maya looked at her Berkeley acceptance letter, now framed on her dorm room wall. Next to it hung the original crumpled $10 bill. Robert had returned it to her at her high school graduation. "Keep this," he'd said. "Remember that everything started with your heart, not my wallet." Maya touched the bill gently. Such a small thing. Such enormous consequences. Her phone rang. Robert calling. "Maya, I'm at the airport heading to New York. Senate hearing tomorrow about education funding. They want to hear our foundation's recommendations." "Our foundation? Maya, you're the co-founder. This is as much yours as mine. Maybe more. You're the heart of it all." Maya smiled. "Text me the details. I'll have a presentation ready by morning." "That's my girl." "Oh, and Maya?" "Yes? Thank you. Again. Always." After hanging up, Maya sat in her dorm room overlooking the San Francisco Bay. Golden Gate Bridge in the distance. Sailboats dotting the water. Life she could never have imagined 2 years ago. But the best part wasn't the view. It was the email she'd just received from a high school student in Detroit. A girl named Angela who'd started a kindness club at her school. After seeing Maya's documentary, 40 students now participated in weekly community service. Maya was changing the world, $10 at a time. 5 years later, Maya Chen stood at the podium of the United Nations. "My fellow delegates, poverty is not a character flaw. It's a systemic failure we can fix." The assembly listened as Maya, now 22, and a Berkeley graduate, presented the last $10 Foundation's Global Expansion Plan. "We've helped 10,000 students attend college. We've provided medical assistance to 5,000 families. We've created jobs in 12 countries." She paused, looking out at representatives from around the world. "But the most important thing we've learned is this: kindness is not a luxury for the wealthy. It's a power that belongs to everyone." Maya clicked to her final slide. A photo of her 17-year-old self handing $10 to Robert Martinez. This photo was taken by a security camera. Neither of us knew we were being filmed. There was no audience, no cameras, no social media, just 2 people and a choice to help. The assembly was silent. Every day, each of you makes that same choice. Help or walk away. Be kind or be indifferent. Make a difference or make excuses. Maya smiled, thinking of her mother in the audience. Linda Chen, cancer survivor, now running her own nonprofit, helping immigrant families. The world doesn't need more billionaires. It needs more people willing to give their last $10 to a stranger. She closed her laptop. Thank you. Standing ovation. Every delegate on their feet. After her speech, Maya checked her phone. 17,000 new messages. Hashtag last $10 trending again. But the message that mattered most was from a 12-year-old in Ohio. Maya, I gave my allowance to help pay for my classmates' lunch. Her mom lost her job. It felt good. Thank you for showing me how. Maya typed back, you just changed someone's life. Maybe your own too. Keep being amazing. That night, Maya called Robert from her hotel room. Watched your UN speech online. I'm proud of you. We did this together. No, Maya, you started this. I just had the privilege of helping. Maya looked out at the New York skyline. Lights twinkling like stars. Robert, do you ever think about what would have happened if I'd walked past you that day? Every day. But you didn't walk past. That's who you are. After hanging up, Maya opened her laptop and started typing. Dear friends, today I had the honor of addressing the United Nations. But the real honor is reading your messages every day. Stories of kindness, acts of generosity, proof that goodness is contagious. She paused, thinking of all the lives touched by one moment of kindness. Tomorrow, you'll have chances to help someone. A small kindness, a listening ear, maybe even your last $10. Please take those chances. You never know whose life you might save. Maya hit publish and closed her laptop. Outside her window, 8 million people lived their lives in New York City. Each one with the power to change the world. Just like a 17-year-old girl from Los Angeles had changed hers. The last $10 that changed everything. If Maya's story touched your heart, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs hope today. Your small act of kindness could be the beginning of someone else's miracle. What will your $10 story be?